incredible. For decades, researchers believed that local stories of such a creature were mythology, metaphor. That is, until a week ago, when our team discovered this lone example. None would have surmised that a guitar made of fiberglass, plastic, magnesium, and requiring a light bulb to work would ever exist, but here we are. The red switch here is a small but not insignificant detail. It activates a light bulb inside of the instrument, creating an optical tremolo. But what is it, really? Well, after a week of observation, we've determined it is a Supro Bermuda Tremo-lectric Resoglass guitar from 1963, just 45 years after I was born. It was in a sorry state when we found it, battery acid destroying its electronics, light bulb no longer functional, and impossible to find.
Damn.
But we persevered, and we cleaned it, and we rewired it. And today, we'll show you that process. So join our team as we return to the laboratory and return this guitar to functionality.
All right, I have 1,000 projects. That's an exaggeration. I have 100 projects, I'll say. And of course, I'm working on the newest ones. Last week, I started my 1936-ish Maybell electric guitar. Crazy rare, crazy cool, no one cares. But on the same trip, I came back with this Supro Bermuda I picked up from Parrot Dice Guitars. I made an offer on it without actually looking at the details. The pickups look bad. The wires have disintegrated. So hopefully the pickups work. There's a lot of other work to do to it. Burp. So let's get started. This is a 1962 Supro Bermuda with onboard tremolo. I have no idea how this works. It uses like a C or D battery. And yes, here are the wires to the pickups, literally disintegrated. The body of this guitar appears to be fiberglass, but the back appears to be ABS or some kind of plastic. There's one giant crack and some other smaller cracks. And then there's a wooden center block and the signature Supro neck with magnesium core. This one has a 0 fret. The bridge is not original, but a bone saddle is nice and it's adjustable. However, it is too high. So the first thing we're gonna do is sand that arched base to flat and go from there. Epic numbers of people got furious when I shit-talked the ES335, saying it has virtually no acoustic properties. For what it is, it's too heavy. It doesn't resonate. Listen to this. Out of tune, but plastic and fiberglass, more resonant than an ES335, and lighter. You have to wonder what this has been through. These cracks in the fiberglass are not normal. And normally I would suspect the back of being celluloid to cause this sort of off-gassing damage, but who knows, this bitch could have been in a flood or could have been at the bottom of the Antarctic Ocean. Is there an Antarctic Ocean? One of my favorite parts of the Ralph Keller pickup design is the hidden mounting screws for the bezels. Oh no. So the two E pole pieces go to little nuts that are built into the bezel, but they're not turning. Not too worried about preserving these wires. I wonder if battery acid took care of those wires. The E-pole pieces also adjust the pickup height. You kind of have to go a little bit of each side and make sure you damage the screws and scratch the top while you're at it. The rot runs deep. Let's see if I can get a reading. Yes. Here's what I mean about the bezel. The problem is these will often break and then it's useless, but when they still work, good as a jerk. And these little clips on the bolts are what allow it to be height adjustable. That sounds very bad. Just don't see a way to get back home. To get lubricant down into the plastic without compromising the coil. It's not that I'm using the wrong size screwdriver, it's that these are soft AF and stuck AF. It's only getting worse. This one's willing to come out, but not without this one coming with it. And yeah, I'm damaging the cover too. Hopefully this doesn't kill the pickup. Pushing down as hard as I can. These are the softest screw heads I've ever screwed with. Now this is obviously a character piece, but I do have one of these tail pieces, and I have the correct Clusen tuners with the Valco proprietary buttons right here. Ooh, no line. And I even have a set in gold, but they're on the guitar reading board.
It's not a gourd, it's not a sword, it's not a fjord, it's guitar reading board.
Really nice Brazilian rosewood fingerboard. Pretty much quarter sawn. If something's quarter sawn, does that mean it's 3/4 unseen? This guitar, when I got it, had one of these circuits on it, but the whole guitar and the circuit were smashed to bits, so I replaced it with an onboard overdrive. These no-line tuners are correct, I believe, for 1953 to 1956. But we will make an exception, because the only difference is that on 63, this would say Clusen Deluxe down the middle. Hard to say what this thing's been through, but I can't even move this large Phillips head screw. This guitar has a micro tilt adjustment and 2 screws, actually bolts, to hold on the neck that are into the threaded magnesium core. Finally, completely destroyed that. messed up the cover quite a bit, but I drilled it out and I got that tiny flathead in there. I wonder if I can just flip it over. Well, the good news is both coils work at the very least. Should I have just left them on? No, I need to rewire them. So what the f did this bitch do anyway? This thing grounds or completes the circuit, bringing voltage through whatever that is, out here, through a couple caps in the switch and the thingy and the thingy. I don't know, man. Taking out all the pole pieces while I'm at it, clean them up. See? Because these adjustable poles do sit proud of the cover, there's some chance I can salvage these old ones by deepening this slot and recrowning the top. This one's a little more sketchy because I took the drill to it. Oh, I got Lloyd's in my eyes. Jesus. Somehow the screwdriver touched the Lloyd's can. It got in my eye. Betrayed by my oldest friend. Lloyd's. Why would Lloyd do this to me? I knew you're not supposed to drink it, but I didn't know you're not supposed to spray it in your eyes. This video brought to you by Lloyd's. Lloyd's. Don't drink it. I think I'm fine. Do I look normal? Seven screws, no problem. This one, problem. Put some lubricant in there. Trying to break through the rust with this blade because this thing does not want to turn. It's going great. Really great. Well, let's do something we can do. Ta-da! Holy shit balls. What the f is that? I wonder if I can just slam a AA in there if it has enough milliamp hours, because like what the f is it even doing? Should have left this in a tumbler overnight. Oh, what's this? Nothing, just my partial roll of paper towel. Not to brag. Okay, this is a crapshoot, but I filled them with solder. And I'm gonna see if I can cut slots and clean them up. Booger. That's not bad. This pickup bezel I couldn't remove at all, nor could I get the tailpiece off. I might try a low power drill to get this one off, but these are very stuck and I don't need it off as long as this ground wire still works. La pièce de résistance. Damn, that's nice rosewood. We'll use that floor screw to track down a match for the last missing one that I had to drill out. Somebody's hot. Of course, the best match is stripped out, so we're gonna pick the second best. Like a sore thumb. Okay, now I need to rewire the pickups and get that weird effect working and find the right size battery. I'm gonna use some braided insulated wire, a la Gibson and various others. Wonderfully, Valco soldered their coil wires to the entire bobbin, to that mounting screw, soldered the mounting screws in place. So anywhere on here will work as a ground. Now, where the frick is my solder? World's biggest lighter, tiniest flame. Those are those soldered pole pieces. If they didn't want us to huff solder fumes, why'd they make it taste so good, smell so good? I know the difference because I don't huff solder fumes. Now I need to get these battery terminals back on. They seem to have disintegrated off with battery acid, etc. Of course, maybe I should check this. This looks a little cleaner. It's only marginally better. It's missing the terminal on this side. I'm gonna try a AA, because I've got them. Now, assuming my contact points and solders are viable, I should get voltage. What the fuck? Okay, there it is, 1.6 volts. What that voltage does in this circuit is still a complete mystery to me. So let's wire the pickups up and see if the pots are working and see if the Tremolo does anything. Good news, I'm getting audio from both pickups. Bad news, the little vibrato guy doesn't appear to be doing anything. And also, the other one has a little rubber tip, so I'm gonna steal that for this one. Luckily, this is designed as such that I can put the strings on and play it, but still access the electronics, so I don't have to keep pulling everything apart. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's cross-check the schematic. Oh, wow, these are very different. I've heard it's optical, but what is providing the light input? I've got the same resistors here, but they're not nearly in the same layout. Now my idea, if I can't get this working, is just to make that manual switch into a momentary kill switch, a ground of the signal. And I think it will have a similar effect. So I've got good continuity at all the contact points. All the wiring looks to be back to original, and I'm still not getting the effect. I feel like I'd get some effect with the AA battery, even if it wants a C battery, right? Okay, problem with my mute switch idea. There's a popping. How does a kill switch normally bypass a popping situation? Maybe with a C battery and some resistors. Okay, it seems like the solution is to diffuse some of the voltage by adding a resistor in the middle of the switch. So we'll give that a shot. Okay, I was looking into it more, and yes, this is an optical tremolo, meaning it's light reactive, meaning the circuit brightens and darkens a light bulb, and that is picked up by a sensor, and that affects how the signal passes. I used to have a organ that the volume swell pedal was basically mechanically pushing a light bulb out of a tube and making it more exposed to a sensor. It was really cool. I don't get how it works, but it works. However, obviously I'm not getting light. Perhaps I need a light bulb. I'm going to look in my other circuit and see if that bulb is viable. It seems like this side is probably the light bulb, and this side is probably the sensor. But I guess I need to pull them out. Oh, that's the light bulb. Interesting. Okay. Well, that bulb's effed. Let's check this one. Come on, baby. Also, looks pretty effed. I don't see a filament running between the two. I'm gonna call them diodes, probably wrong. All right, I tested here at the socket and the voltage is coming through. So both of these light bulbs, as they appear, are dead. It'd be pretty sick if I could get a flashing light in there. Okay, so the sensor and the circuit do work. Good to know. Unfortunately, this will not be my solution, or will it? I don't know. At this point, I'm looking for some sort of light source that will work on 9 volts or 1.5 volts. This is probably 120. It's got wires for up to 600. None of these work. Somewhere I have a vintage flashlight that runs off 3 volts that I'm keeping just in case I want to use the metal for a tube pickup. Hoarding. On my way to the electronics store, see if they've got the bulb I need. God damn. There's a car parts shop next door. Maybe they have it. Well, this was one of those gate-kept auto supply stores where you have to have a part number and tell the guy which year your car is, even though it's not a car. And he was too fucking grumpy in sending a fax, so he didn't help me, so I left. Now I have no bulb. Well, I'm just gonna return to my hoard and see if I can find something. If I could use that headlamp on the flashing setting and it comes on with a momentary voltage as per the original switch, then I would be able to add a secondary bypass switch to turn it on permanently and have a consistent trem. That will only work if the first instinct when it gets voltage is to come on instead of it being some sort of timed relay. I don't really know how it works. Diode? Because of the schedule I like to keep with YouTube, I'm not going to be able to get a variable oscillating LED light circuit before I put this out. So I'm gonna try with the headlamp first, and barring that, I will just find an alternate light and power source for the existing circuit. But first, a quick test on the momentary capacity of this shows that it will work. I will only have 1 speed of vibrato, but as soon as oh no. It does not maintain its switch position. Well, unfortunately, if you leave it for more than a minute, the switch resets to off. So that's a bummer. I would have to add a switch to the pick guard to reset the light every time. I guess I'll just continue my quest for a different light bulb for the time being. I actually contacted a friend who makes pedals, and I'm gonna see if he can make me the circuit, and I'll add it later and do an updated video. 120 volts. Maybe. Nothing. Hoarding fail. Steal my daughter's light bright. Could steal this fake candle. Ooh, color changing. I wonder if I have any loose Christmas lights. Short answer, no. I feel like this might be my solution. It's got a light, it's got a switch, it's got a small battery. It even has a pulse mode, but if I can disassemble this and get the bulb close enough to the sensor, this will work. Sweet, okay. This would also mean bypassing the negative side of the circuit and running it through that switch. The other thing about this is that it is made to be thrown away, even though it says don't throw it away, because there's no way to change the battery without desoldering the back panel. Okay, so they're actually 3 volts each, CR 2016s. As it turns out, this one also has a switch that resets when the power is removed, so I can't simply bypass it and reattach it with the other momentary switch. But can I steal just this bulb? What the fuck? Why? What I don't understand about electronics could fill many textbooks, but you'd think applying the voltage to the bulb would work. But I guess there's little things inside the thing that make the thing a different voltage. Never mind, I got it. There was just some leftover hot glue preventing the connection. A win for the little guys. The thing kind of clips on there. It's not super stable yet, but we'll work on it. Now I might even be able to solder the LED to the original socket here. All right, turns out the light only works with one orientation of voltage. Like one side is definitely negative, one side is definitely positive. I used a piece of mother of pearl to hold the batteries back in place and added a wire for the negative side. And the negative side will go to my circuit. Let's presume it's working and screw in the pick guard. I realize this switch is missing a screw, which looks bad, and I probably have an extra. But let's not muck around with that right now. Let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, the effect is subtle, overly complicated, and interesting. I think that adding a variable pulsating light to it would be an improvement. It would be cool to have onboard optical tremolo of that variety. Even the kill switch, the momentary kill switch, might be a more impactful effect than the current situation. If you like onboard effects in guitars, I recently put a wah pedal in a Xenon, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, I put a LPB1 inside that Unicorn Supro Thunderstick short scale. So check out either one of those videos. If you want, I will leave them in the end card. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna get back to work on that 1936 Maybell electric guitar. It may not be for next week because, like I said, I'm doing lacquer. Lacquer really should sit for something like 4 to 6 weeks or some bullshit like that. But we'll see. Gonna get back to work on it anyway, because it's gonna take me forevs. In the meantime, thank you to everyone who purchased my album on Bandcamp. Thank you to all Patreon patrons, and thank you to YouTube members. Your support means a lot, and I really appreciate it. See you next time.
Incredible. Amazing. Astounding. Bizarre. Magnificent. Incredible. Unheard of. Wonderful. Terrific. Inimitable.